Hey guys, what's going on? It's been a while, I know, but today I wanted to come back and make another top 10 video. This one is going to be the top 10 reasons why Gears 5 is amazing, awesome, good, and everything, rainbow and sunshiny. There's not one thing I think about this game that isn't good, but here we go. You're just going to see some gameplay of mine. I was playing with a buddy of mine, and we were doing some Horde in Gears 5. If you've played Horde in any other Gears games, like Gears 2 or 3, you'll notice that it's a little bit different, a little bit more dynamic with abilities and what do you have to do at the start of the game and everything. So, anyways, starting off, the thing that really just gets me or got me as soon as I started playing the game, like 10 minutes in, is the graphics. Not only is it 1080p and 6 frames per second, but it's just insane how realistic the environments are. Whether it be the winter side of the game that you get, the desert side of the game that you go into, in these environments, you step into water and it's just so realistic, so just refined. It's just amazing. I think that you ask anybody that's played this game, they're going to tell you that it's the best looking game that they have ever played. And it's insane because it's on the Xbox One X. I mean, it's a good system, it's a good console. But if you even play it on the first Xbox One that came out, you're going to be seeing almost the same results. Just how smooth and how buttery it is. I mean, you can just see just by the gameplay here, like just the realisticness of killing enemies and just the blood and the gore and everything. I mean, it's just amazing. And speaking of the gore, I think they did a really nice job of what they did with making like bodies explode when the bullets hit them, which is something that they didn't really do in Gears 4. Just because of the enemy that you're facing. I don't know if you guys know too much about the story. I know a lot of people didn't play Gears of War 4 because it kind of strayed away from what Gears 1 and 2 and 3 were. But if you did play it, you'll know that it just they've taken a whole new route with how they like want the bodies, like the ragdollness that Gears 1 and 2 and 3 had was amazing, but they didn't really want that, to they didn't want to keep going down that path. They wanted to really make this game, look as realistic as possible. So now we're not facing, I mean, we are facing the Locust still, but we're more facing this new enemy called the Swarm, if you guys don't know. It's an enemy, and when they come out of those I don't know, what do you want to call them? Come out of the just these little things in the ground where they're born. They come out of them, and these swarm characters. They don't really have a name for them yet. They're not called locusts, but just a little soldier ants, if you want, if you will. They're naked. They were just born, so they don't really have too much girth to them. So when you shoot them, they explode. Even it doesn't matter if you're shooting them with a pistol or if you're shooting them with a shotgun or any gun. Really, they just explode, and it makes sense because they were just born, so their bodies haven't hardened yet. And they've talked about this a little bit. Is where the other enemies that you fight, the more refined swarm enemies that have been alive a lot longer than the ones that you fight right when they come out of their hives, is or their birthing grounds. They're going to be able to take a lot more damage and all that because their bodies have hardened. So it's really amazing just how realistic they made that. They could have just made all the enemies just have the same effects when they die, but they've really just between fighting the DBs, which are the robots that you'll see me fight a lot in this Horde gameplay, or the locusts or the scions or whatever. Each enemy dies differently. They all have different effects. They all take different amounts of damage, and it's just really amazing how they their bodies interact with the bullets that are hitting them. Whether you're killing a robot, they explode. There's oil and there's grease going everywhere. Or you're killing just a regular enemy, and just like blood and chunks of body parts are going everywhere. As you'll see there, as I'm shooting them with the National Shotgun, just boom, guts everywhere. Shooting the robot, boom, oil, grease everywhere. They've just done a really, really nice job of making it realistic and making it to where the player feels satisfied when they kill an enemy. Number two is going to be they've taken a different route with the way that you play Gears games. It's kind of, I mean, it's still Gears of War, but they've taken an RPG route, where you collect these things called called components, and you'll find them around the map as you look for collectibles. Collectibles are like pieces of paper, um, cog tags. You'll find like artifacts around each map that you play in the campaign. But you're also going to find these components, and each component that you pick up is going to be, it's going to be a different amount of components that you pick up. So you pick up one in that room, you might get one. You pick up another room in that room, and it gives you like 7 randomly. And then you use these components to upgrade Jack, and Jack is this robot that has been following you around. If you've played Gears 1, 2, and 3, you'll remember Jack. At the beginning of Gears 5, you have this robot called Dave following you around, and then it switches up to Jack for the remainder of the campaign. And what you do with Jack is you take these components and you upgrade him. He's got abilities. He's got something called Stim, where he can put some armor around you and protect you and your teammates from incoming fire. He's got a shield that he can project over you, where you can shoot through the shield, but your enemies can't. Another thing that he can do is he can flash the enemy, just like using a flash grenade. You can tell him to go over there and flash them, and it stuns them, and you can kill them. So you can upgrade these abilities, but the final upgrade of each ability, you are going to have to find these 3 other things. They're not called components, they're called like... each one has a different name, but you have to find 3 for each final upgrade that you want to do for each ability, and that'll let you complete the upgrade, the whole entire upgrade process for each ability. Like for example, for the flash ability, the final upgrade makes it to where when he flashes them, he freezes them. So yeah, you can. I haven't been able to find all of them. I was able to fully upgrade a couple of abilities, but I did struggle to find everything for all the abilities because there wasn't really enough time in the campaign to find them all. But you can definitely go back and chapter select. You don't have to play through the whole entire campaign to get them all. You can load in whatever chapter you want, and you can go back and you can get them all and stuff. You can go and get all the collectibles. I think there's like 150 collectibles in this game. It's pretty insane. I think they did do collectibles in Gears of War 4, but there wasn't as many. Another thing that Jack can do, which is really amazing, and this is the first time they're doing it in a Gears game, is he can actually go and grab ammo boxes for you, grenades, other weapons, lancers, and then you can upgrade him to where he can grab heavy weapons. So not only can you upgrade his abilities, but you can upgrade like himself. It's a little confusing me explaining it because there's like his tactical abilities and support abilities, and then there's like himself that you can upgrade. Just the things that he can do, like disregarding abilities. But yeah, all you have to do is like look over to a weapon or whatever. If you're hiding behind cover, if you can't go and get it because you're gonna die if you do, you can tell him to go get you ammo or whatever, and he'll suck it up and bring it to you and all that. It's pretty cool. Another thing that happens in the game, as the first time we're seeing it in a Gears game, is reinforcements. There will be a couple parts in the campaign where Baird will ask you, what kind of reinforcements do you want? Do you want DBs that have tri-shots? Do you want DBs that have, rocket launchers? And then you call them in, and it's pretty cool. They help you out and stuff. Because in Gears of War 4, you were fighting DBs, and now DBs are helping you. Technically, you are fighting DBs in Gears 5 because of these like leeches that can control them and stuff. But you'll find that out in the campaign. Number 3, there's this thing called boot camp. It starts out right before you start anything. You can't go and do multiplayer. You can't play the campaign. You can't go play Escape or Horde. There's this thing called boot camp that you have to do, which I think is really cool by the game developer, making it to where there's no excuses for anybody being like, oh, I don't know how to play and stuff like that, because they forced you to play this tutorial in this campaign. It doesn't take that long. It's like 5-10 minutes, something like that, but it gives you every little bit of information you need to play the campaign, Horde, multiplayer, whatever. And I think it's something that every single game should have. I wish Halo would have had that when I started playing Halo, Rocket League, Dead by Daylight. I wish they had some kind of tutorial where it was mandatory to do. Number 4, the story is going to be hinting back at Gears 1 and 2 and 3. You're going to be going back to Azura, which at the end of Gears of War campaign, you go and you try to save Marcus's dad, and you fight Queen Mira, and all that stuff happens. Azura is like this little hotel that was built for rich people, presidents, senators, all that stuff, and so they're going to be going back to that place after 25 years, because going from Gears 3 to Gears 4, it's a gap of 25 years. Gears 4 to 5, I think, is like a couple weeks or something like that. But yeah, you're going to be going back to that place. In Gears 2, if you remember, a place called New Hope. It's the birthplace of the Locusts. You're going to be going back there. And then in Gears 1, there's a place called Tomb of the Unknown where you fight your first Berserker, and you're going to be going back there as well. Number 5, Gears of War 4, Gears of War 5 is on the Game Pass. You can get the Game Pass for $2 for 2 months, and then after that, it's like $15 a month or something like that. But that's a good deal, and you can cancel any time. So that's another thing that's amazing about Gears 5. A game that just came out, it's fresh out of the box, and they put it on the Game Pass, and you can get it for $2 for 2 months. So that's amazing. And they have like hundreds of other games on there and stuff like that. Number 6, they're bringing back all the multiplayer stuff that you love from Gears 1, 2, 3, 4. They're bringing back King of the Hill, Guardian, Team Deathmatch, Escalation. They're going to be bringing back a bunch of other game modes for multiplayer. Number 7 is what you're watching right here. It's called Horde. Gears 2 and 3. It was kind of like a simplified Horde where you go around and collect weapons and stuff like that. And I think you call some weapons in. And then you just kill enemies until wave 50. Every 10 waves, there's a boss. So it could be like a Brumok, it could be a Berserker, or anything like that. This time around, they're pretty much keeping it the same as Gears of War 4, where it's more intricate from all the other Gears of War games, where at the start of a Horde match, you saw that there's this thing called the Fabricator, where you put points in. In the top left-hand corner, you can see that I'm collecting stuff called power. And what you do is you take this power and you put it into the Fabricator. You can put in 1,000 at a time, and what that does is it allows you to, it's like a pile or whatever that you and your other teammates can utilize, to upgrade and put down these fortifications. So the enemy can't come and destroy the Fabricator, which is what you're trying to do. You're trying to protect the Fabricator, because once they destroy the Fabricator, the game's over. Once everybody on your team dies, it's over. If somebody goes down on your team, you can go up to them and revive them, or if they die, you can go up, pick up their tags, kind of like Apex, kind of like Fortnite, and you bring it to the Fabricator, and then it revives them. Unfortunately, you do lose all your weapons and all that stuff. But as you can see the score, you can see what wave you're on. We're 2 waves away from getting into the first boss fight. You can see that I'm carrying over 3,000 power, and then the Fabricator has 8,000 right now. Each person that you are has a different ability. For example, I'm playing as Kate, and the ability that I have, or the ultimate that I have, similar to Overwatch and similar to Destiny, Apex. The ability I have is called Cloak, which obviously means that I can go invisible and they're not going to be able to see me, and I can sneak up to somebody and assassinate them, or whatever you want to call it. JD, who is Marcus Phoenix's son, he has an ability where he can call in airstrikes. The little robot, you can actually be Jack, which is really cool. We have a guy on our team. I think it's actually essential that you have Jack in any Horde game. He can heal, he can do damage, he can grab weapons and bring it to you. He can revive teammates and stuff like that. He can go invisible. So it's probably not as fun to play as Jack as all the other players, because you can't use weapons if you're Jack. You can only like zap people. But it's kind of like a mercy role, kind of like a healing role. Each character has their own abilities and everything. There's ammo around the map. As you see, I picked up that. Every new round, there's 2 boxes of ammo that spawn. There's also something that you can get from the Fabricator. It's like some kind of furnace or whatever, and you take weapons and you dismantle them into there, and you can get power. You can also summon little power boxes around the map, which you'll see here when we get to like wave 15 or something like that. And you just go up to them. It takes a while to suck up the power, but you go up to them and you can suck up the power from them. That's another way you can get power to put in the Fabricator and get weapons and all that. And that's pretty much it for Horde. This doesn't go just for Horde. This goes for any multiplayer mode. There's no duplicate characters in any mode, which means that only I can be Kate. No, none of my teammates can pick Kate, which I think is pretty cool. Kind of like Overwatch. You know, there can only be one Mercy. There can only be one Hanzo. Just to make sure that the team is well balanced and stuff like that. There's not going to be 5 Marcus Phoenixes on one team or anything like that. Moving on to number 8, Escape is a new mode they're coming out with in Gears 5. If you don't know how it works with the Swarm getting new, locust bodies, whatever you want to call them, they're not locusts. They're like pre-locusts. They come out of these little ground hives. The things that are called before they're like pre-locusts are called juvies. And the juvies, they all go underground and they combine to make one new body. Anyway, and juvies are made from human remains. There are these things called snatchers, which evolve from pouncers. Pouncers evolve from leeches, and snatchers they pretty much just take somebody that has been down on the ground and they pod them into whatever the heck you want to call it. They put juice inside of them. And then the juice breaks down the body from a cellular level, and it turns them into these juvies and makes them part of the swarm. So basically what happens is 3 people at the beginning of Escape, they just let the Snatcher take them, and they break out of the pod. Once they get to the hive, they have this bomb set on their chests, and they set it down for 60 seconds. You have 60 seconds to get as far as you can until it detonates, and then the gas starts coming. The gas will kill anything that it touches, so that's why you want to run away from the gas as fast as you can. You only start with a pistol. It depends what character you pick. Not only are there characters that are for Horde or whatever, but there are characters that are specific to Escape. There's 3 characters. There's this one guy, his name is Keenan, I think, and then there's a chick that has like some knife that can electrocute people. So depending on who you pick, you'll start with like a Talon, which is a little submachine gun. You can start with a Boltok, which is a revolver, and then you go around and you kill enemies. And once you run out of ammo, all you're gonna have is your knife. So you have to kill them and take their weapons. They're going to have like hammer bursts, and then gradually as you get deeper into the Escape map, you're going to be able to kill bigger enemies and pick up boom shots and drop shots and anything like that. And the whole point of it is to escape and get to the LZ, where a helicopter will pick you up, or a Raven, and that'll be it. Doors will shut, and then you'll win, and the hive will be destroyed. So it's an okay mode. I definitely prefer Horde to Escape. Each person, each character, they get new abilities at level 3, 5, 10, etc. Like every 2 to 3 levels, they get new abilities, and then from 10 it's like 15, 20, 25, 30. And then you get these little cards that you can attach to your character before you go into Horde or Escape, and it gives you extra perks, extra damage, extra ammo. Number 9 is going to be open world. Just how open world that they've made Gears of War 5. This is the first time they've done kind of like an open world campaign. Not like open world, as you can see. That was the first leech that you're going to see. That thing evolves into the Pouncer, and then a Pouncer evolves into a Snatcher. So that's what it looks like when it's in its baby form. And those are the things that control the DBs that or rejects is what they call them, that attack. So yeah, it's just crazy how open world they've made it. There are 2 worlds that you can explore while you're driving this vehicle called the skiff. The skiff is like some kind of wind powered vehicle that it's like, I think 4 people can be on it, but only 2 people drive it. And you can store weapons on it and all that stuff. But the 2 different open worlds, one is a winter world, one is a desert world, and you can go around and you can just do main missions if you want to, or you can go do the side missions. Like I said, it's the first time they've done a campaign like this. Usually it's just, do that mission, then go here, then mission's over and all that stuff. Kind of simple campaign, just like Halo. But no, they're doing side missions and stuff. They're letting players play how they want. If you wanted to go explore, you can. If you want to speedrun the campaign, you can. So there's a lot of different options, a lot of different choices that they're giving players when they play the campaign. Um, and another thing is that the game will let you know when the open world is closing, in case you know didn't do everything and you want to go do all the side missions. The game will let you know that, hey, be able to go back to this open world until you beat the campaign. So, and then if you want to go back to it after you beat the campaign, then you can go and do it through chapter select and get your collectibles and all that, everything that you missed. And then the last reason why I think Gears of War 5 is amazing and awesome and good is just the customizability. They're adding a lot of new characters that we never thought we'd see in Gears of War. They're adding the Terminator. Or not the Terminator, but I forget what they call the robots. But they're adding one of the Terminator robots into Gears 5, and then they're also adding Sarah Connor to Gears 5 as well, and she is a complete badass. Another thing about characters, as I'm thinking about her, is that they all have their own loadouts. Like, for example, Kate spawns with a Retro Lancer, Marcus Phoenix spawns with a regular Lancer, Sarah Connor spawns with a Gnasher, which is the main shotgun in Gears of War. So, that's another thing. Not only do they have their own abilities, but they also have their own weapons and loadout. Other characters that they're adding to Gears 5 are two characters from Halo Reach. Kate, which is that chick with the robotic arm, and then Emile, which is that guy with like the skull on his helmet. So we're getting two characters from the Terminator movies, and then we're getting two characters from Halo Reach that are coming over to Gears 5. So that is amazing that we're having crossovers like that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all you need to know going into Gears 5. Obviously, there's a lot of spoilers in this. I'm going to be leaving a little message in the title, so everyone can't yell at me after this and say that I spoiled it for them. But yeah, you don't have to pay $60 to buy the game. If you want to spend $2 on the Game Pass, you can play the whole entire game for a couple months for $2, and then you can cancel anytime. And it's not just for Xbox. You can also play it on Windows 10, because Windows 10 and Xbox are one and the same. That's about it. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully I gave you some insight into what Gears 5 is and how amazing it is. And the only reason why I'm not playing it right now is because Borderlands 3 just came out, and I'm going to be playing the shit out of Borderlands 3, and I'll definitely be making another top 10 video for that, because Borderlands 3 is amazing. But yeah, leave a comment. Tell me what kind of videos you want to see. Once Halo Reach comes out, I'll be doing a lot of videos on that. I've been thinking about doing some Dead by Daylight videos. I don't know if you guys would enjoy that. I was thinking about maybe going over every killer in Dead by Daylight and how you should use them and stuff like that. I know Dead by Daylight's been out for 3 years, but it's not like a mainstream game like League of Legends or Fortnite. It's kind of a game that didn't really get too popular. So if you guys want that, then let me know. If not, then also let me know. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe, sure, and I will see you guys later. Thanks for watching.